Hey everybody, it's Dom again. Today I'm going to run you through something a little different. I'm going to do a Magic 2012 draft, and so far all the videos you've seen are for constructed, where you build your own deck and bring it to the event and just play it against other people's decks. But in limited events are different from constructed, and that what you do is you just open booster packs and build decks out of the cards that you open. And there's two main types of limited events. There's sealed, which is what you do like at the pre-release. You just open your packs and you build a deck and you play with it. But then the booster draft is a little more interesting, is that there's more interaction between the players. And what you do is you take 3 booster packs. You usually have 8 people at the table. And everyone opens their first one, and then you take 1 card out of it, and then you pass it to the person to your left. And then you get the pack from the person to your right, which will have all the cards minus the one that they took, and then you take a second card. And it just keeps going around the table until everyone's taken all the cards from the packs. And then you do the same thing with packs 2 and 3. In pack 2, you pass to the right, and then pack 3, you pass back to the left again. And after you've taken all your cards, you can add any number of basic lands. And then from that point, you can start playing your deck, and usually you play 3 rounds. And Magic Online, there's the Swiss format where you get to play all 3 rounds regardless of whether you win or lose, but the prizes aren't very good. And then we have 8-4 and 4-3-2-2, which are higher prize formats, but they're single elimination. So in the 4-3-2-2, if you lose in the first round, you don't get anything. And then 8-4, you have to make it to the finals, and first place gets 8, second gets 4, and then in this one, first is 4, second is 3, and then 2 and 2. But so it's basically higher risk, higher rewards. I like to do the 4-3-2-2 queues. The Swiss doesn't really give you a whole lot, but the 4-3-2-2 has a reasonable chance of success, so or at least getting a couple packs out of it. But all the real good players play the 8-4s. They're more profitable, obviously, if you do well. So the kind of decks we're trying to draft, for now we have 6 players just waiting for 2 more and the draft's going to start. But what we're looking for right now is, out of your first pack, is usually you look at bombs, removal, and then attackers, and then filler. And in that order. Bombs are very large creatures, like, a big flying sphinx, or like Sphinx of Buffon or something like that. That just come down and sometimes give you a bunch of advantage to kill your opponent and win the game pretty quickly. The removal is how you deal with your opponent's good cards. Stuff like a Doomblade or Pacifism, or sometimes even just like damage spells like Lightning Bolt or Lightning Bolt's out in the set, Incinerate or Chandra's Outrage. Looks like we're ready to start here. And alright, so usually what I do is I look at the rare first. And here we have a dual land, which isn't too helpful. It's fixes your mana, which is fine, but you don't want to take it first. You want to take a card that's going to help you win the game somehow. And so I look at the uncommons now. Elite Vanguard's pretty good. 2-1 for 1 is fine, but he'll be good, but he's not super powerful. Jade Mage is a pretty good card also. This is a 2-1 that you can pay 3 mana to make a 1-1. It's also a solid card. But the card I'm looking at is Overrun. This is a card pretty much just wins the game. It's always been an all-star in limited formats. And all your creatures get +3/+3 and trample. So if we take this, we're going to look to draft creatures from 2, 3, and 4 mana, and then play the Overrun and just have a ton of huge guys and kill them. I also have Giant Spider in this pack, which is another good green card, so it's kind of unfortunate that we're passing 2 good green cards here. But I think Overrun's a good enough card that it's worth taking. The rest of the pack was pretty weak, so didn't get around to the commons. It looks like we get a second chance at Jade Mage, which can make a lot of guys, and that'll combo well with our Overrun, so that's almost certainly going to be the pick here. Usually you want to stay in 1 or 2 colors. Usually 2 is the norm, sometimes 1 or maybe 3 if you're greedy. All we're passing here is a Rampant Growth. And Sacred Wolf is okay, but not valued. It's a good card with stuff like Trollhide, but it's not valued too highly in this format. Really aren't too many other good cards here. Ring Flesh, I think, is an underrated card. Target creature gets -3/-1. Consume Spirit is fine, but you have to be playing a heavy black deck, because you can only pay the X with black mana, unlike the Blaze in the constructed videos where you could pay the blue mana for it also. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We've got 2 good cards so far, go together well. And here's a bit of a tough pick here. We have some good green cards. Greater Basilisk is fine. It's a little expensive, but 5 toughness is pretty big. Death Touch is a good ability. We also have Stampeding Rhino, another 5-drop, 5/5 trample. We can see there's a lot of green going around, so it looks like green is a color we want to be in. To have a Rampant Growth, and which just gets a land out of our deck. And then Titanic Growth is a strong card. I actually don't think it's as good as Giant Growth, which is +3/+3 for a single green. But the best card in the pack, though, is Gideon's Lockkeeper, which is an extremely powerful card. The ability to tap down an opposing creature has always been very good and limited. And this guy only costs 1 mana. Most tappers cost like 2 or 3 or even 4 mana. So I think I'm going to take the risk of taking a second white card just because this card is very powerful. We don't have to be picking all green cards. So I'm going to take Lockkeeper. And that's another overrun. Although there's no white in this pack at all, so it's possible that this may not help us out. I really like Giant Spider. I'm annoyed that we had to pass another one, but having 2 overruns just seems that's going to be really good. We're going to want to draft a lot of creatures with 2 overruns. So we're not passing much else. Seems like a lot of green cards are happening, and most of the other cards we've seen have been pretty weak. Foil Distress, but nothing too exciting. The Mana Leak's okay. Harbor Serpent's okay. I think the second best color we've seen is blue. We've seen it unsummoned and stuff, but green is definitely seems like the place to be right now. And that's a really good sign too. Stinger Fling Spider is one of the most powerful cards in the format. One of green's biggest weaknesses is getting attacked by flying creatures, and this is a huge guy that comes into play and kills something with flying. I like Rook's Companion, but we'll probably see more of him. He's not very popular unless you're playing a lot of green in your deck. So grab the spider. Here we have an Armored Warhorse is a pretty good card, but I think we're going to want to be like we have these overruns need triple green, and then the Jade Mage needs a lot of green as well. So I think I'm going to look at the green cards here, Rampant and Titanic Growth. Both of these are pretty good. The Titanic Growth is a good trick. Rampant Growth is fine, but I think we're going to be a pretty low mana curve trying to top off at these overruns. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Titanic Growth here. And so you can see that Mighty Leap's okay, but not a lot of white happening. Here our options are really Llanowar Elves, which is a very good first turn play. Then you can have 3 mana on turn 2. And then Rune Clawbearer is fine. We'll probably see more though. Llanowar Elves is definitely a stronger card. You can get random 2/2s much later. So it's important to think about that. What do other people want? Like when I pass a Rook's Companion, like I think people won't want that as much. And like Llanowar Elves is something that's more useful in other kinds of decks. Here we've got a Sacred Wolf, 3/1 with Hexproof, which means your opponent cannot target it with anything, which is pretty strong. Rock Egg, I think, is a good card in control decks. This is a 0/3 defender. When it dies, you get to make a 3/3 bird, but it's not going to be very good in our deck. It looks like it's going to want to be attacking. So I think my pick's going to be Benalish Veteran. It's a 2/2 that attacks as a 3/3. It's pretty strong in this format. As well, we'll probably be primarily green with a couple of white cards, it looks like. And these cards are all pretty bad. Mana Leak is okay. Unsummoned's pretty good. I don't see us playing Guardian's Pledge in a deck without a lot of white, because that gives all white creatures +2/+2. Bountiful Harvest is not playable. Paying 5 mana to gain 5 life is pretty terrible. I think I'm going to grab the Unsummon. Is probably the best card against us. And this time I'll take the Sacred Wolf. It's the only green or white card. This is a really good sign that we see both of these cards again, the Rhino and the Titanic Growth. I'm going to grab the Rhino. See more creatures. We can take a couple good blue cards we got late too. It's possible we could end up playing blue instead of white, although Lawkeeper is just a really good card. But let's see what we open. Right now we're doing okay. We need a better set of creatures to go with these overruns. We're a little light on good guys. And here's a foil Pentavus. Pentavus is a really good card. It's basically a 5/5 for 7. You can pay 1, make it remove one of its +1/+1 counters, and then you make a 1/1 token. And then you can sack the token and put the counter back. And this is good because if your opponent attacks you, you can make a token, block with the token, sacrifice and put it back onto Pentavus, and you don't take any damage unless that creature has trample. It's a bit of a rules quirk. Nothing else too exciting. Arachnus Web is fine, but decent green removal. Lore is a good card, but I think we might wheel it. I think I'm just going to grab Pentavus. I'm not sure where this deck is going. It's very foily. Seriously. I'm not even sure if we want a third overrun, to be honest. Could get a hand with too many overruns and not enough creatures. Pacifism's a good card. Can stop an opponent's creature. So I kind of just want to take the Swiftfoot Boots is really good too. Gives your guys haste. I think I'm going to try it. I've never drafted more than 2 overruns before, but I think from this point on we just want to draft a lot of creatures though. Like I'm going to have to only take a non-creature if it's really, really good. So we got to get more creatures. Stormfront Pegasus is good. I think I'm going to hide these blue cards. I'd rather play the white ones that we have. Another Pacifism. This could go either way. I think we're just going to want to play a lot of guys and put pressure on them, so I'm going to take the Pegasus. So that could be wrong though. Timely Reinforcements is really good in Control. If you have fewer creatures than your opponent, you get 3/1/1s, and if you have less life, you gain 6. But I think I'm just going to take Assault Griffin here. As good as this card is, I don't think it's going to be good in our deck, which is going to probably be playing a lot of creatures and 3 overruns. So I'm not too excited here, as there's no creatures for us. Rampant Growth. Naturalize is okay, but I'll try to get one later. It's only the card you sideboard in. You wouldn't want to main deck this because some people aren't going to have any artifacts or enchantments. I think I'll take Rampant Growth here. Get us another land. Make sure we hit triple green. Says Auramancer would have been good with the pacifisms that we passed. Yeah, Naturalize again. I think I'll take Auramancer just in case we find some Troll Hides or something later. And it is a creature, even though it's not a very good one on its own. And man, we need some cheaper guys. Greatsword's too expensive. 3 mana to play, 3 to equip. It's not really what we want to be doing in our deck. We really have to limit the non-creature, non-overrun spells that we play. And I'm not even sure I want to play these 2, if I don't have to. Vastwood Gorger and Stampeding Rhino are both fine. I really want creatures that are cheaper than 5 though, but I'll take the Rhino. See, we're getting hosed here. Pride Guardian can't attack, so it's not so great. Yeah, think I'm actually just going to grab this lifelink, play with the Oromancer. Lifelink's not a great card, but it's something you can use to kill illusions. It's not terrible. Alright, we did Wheel the Lore as I predicted. This makes everything that attacks us block it. Block that creature, which could be good with the overrun, because then all our guys that are have overrun except for the one with the lore are going to get through.